All right then. So today we are going to start Spring MVC. How many of you know MVC? How many of you know what is MVC? What is MVC? What is Spring MVC? What is the difference? Anyone knows? What is the difference between What is MVC first? What is the difference between MVC and Spring MVC? Anyone knows? So let me give some introduction of this. MVC means model view controller. Right? So MVC means model view control. M stands for model, V stands for view, C stands for control. Model view control. So let us take where this is used actually. This is used in web applications. This is used in implementing web applications. Say, for example, now, any request. Okay, so there will be different. There will be a client actually. A client is like your browser. So from browser, you send a request. Okay, you type some URL here, right? In the browser, you type some URL. That request will reach the server. So first it will go to the controller. right? First, it will go to the controller, where the controller takes the request coming from the browser. Okay, controller takes the request coming from the browser. And this controller will be invoking the model, right? So where this model will have all the data, like request data, okay, the business logic, response data, all this will have. So for example, this model can interact with the database. Okay, and can get the data and all it will have. Now if you see, the response again will be returned back to the controller. And now the controller invoke a view. The controller will invoke a view, which is your presentation layer. That means the controller will send the response data and invokes view. Okay, invokes view. So your view is like the presentation layer, okay, which process the response and generates. So view is like a presentation layer. View is a presentation layer. That renders the response or generates the response. And again, this view, where it generates the response? In the browser only. This view is written to the browser. This browser will generate the response. I mean, will read this view and generate the response. So this will have all your, this is your model view control, right? So this is your model view control. So generally we built this, if you go for your Java, MVC means this we can use in any technology stack. But if you go with our Java stack, so your controller will be your Java servlets. Model will be your Java beans or Java classes. Okay, Java classes or simple Java. Model beans are Java classes. And then your view is Java server pages. Okay, JSPs, time leaf. These are all JSPs. So, say for example, now I built a small order management application. small order management application. Now, say what are the different APIs this order management application can have? So, for example, if you see, when I say API, I'll tell you what is this. So, say, for example, you have your browser. Right? And here there will be in your browser. Okay, so you will be using some in your browser order management application. Screen will be rendered, right? Will be rendered or will be displayed, right? Now, suppose you have some buttons like create order, create order. Right. Next, you'll have product search. Create order. Yeah. Next is product search. Right. Now, so when you click on this create order button, that will go to your backend URL, where in the controller, you have an API like, okay, create order. This is an API. And every API will be invoked like this. So, for example, it will have an URL, HTTP, some host name, / order, something like this. So basically, okay, this you can call it as, okay, I mean, these are your, we can say endpoint. We call this as an endpoint information. Okay. Now, this API will, I mean, this endpoint will call this create order. For every endpoint, there is an API. API is called application programming interface. So API is called application programming interface. Or let us do like this. Instead of, I'll tell you this API later. Let us not go into API now. So let me take one servlet here. right? I'll tell you APIs next. Okay, first let me tell you there's some fundamentals. Now, any request, if you click create order, if you click create products, that will be associated with an URL. So URL, okay, that will be associated with the URL, where URL contains something like HTTP, host name, okay, slash, okay, something like orders. Now, if you see here, this is your complete URL. Okay, this is your complete URL, or let me do this. A URL will be like this. HTTP, host name, slash application name, slash path. This is a general syntax of URL. What is this host name? Your host name is your IP address or host name of the server. So this host name is IP address or host name of the server. That means, this means this is running in some server or in some remote server. So this will have an IP address. So this is your IP address. Now in this there will be different. Okay, in this, for example, there will be a Tomcat server. There will be Tomcat server. Okay, this is your machine, server machine. There will be a Tomcat server running. So in this Tomcat server, there will be multiple applications running. Application 1, application 2. So let us think like this. So there will be multiple applications. Application 1. This application is related to your order management. Application 1. There will be another application running here. See, this can be your, say, some order management application. Now, there will be another application. Right? Now, here, say there is one more application running, like your account system, account application. Now, this application will have its own controller, model, view. So this application will have more controller. And this application, I mean, this will have model. This will have the view. Now controller will invoke the model. Model will be returned back to the view. Similarly, this application also will have the controller, the same. Now let us take this application. Let us think this is your order management application and take separately. Now let us take only this box. Only this box and take separately. Now you have an order management application. You have an order management application. Now this will have its own web.xml. Every web application will have a web.xml. In this, now we are developing this web application with MVC. Now what will have now here we'll have an orders controller. Orders controller. Next is products controller. Now in web dot say this is your servlet. This controller is nothing but servlet. That means this is one servlet. So which is order servlet. And this is another servlet, which is your product servlet. Now any in web.xml what we define is we define if URL path contains orders, then send the request to orders controller. Just 1 minute, huh? Just 1 minute. 2 minutes I'll be back. Just 2 minutes. Hi, all, I'm back. Sorry. So now in web.xml, everyone is able to hear me? Yeah. In web.xml, we define like if URL path contains orders, then send the request to orders controller or orders servlet. Order servlet. Right? Similarly, if the URL path contains /products, if URL contains /products, then send request to product servlet. I'm writing here. Okay, I'm just writing here in web.xml. Okay, I'm writing here. So there is no space here, I'm writing. Now what will happen is now from the browser, you type the URL, here I'll say, here I'll write. You from the browser, you type the URL, http host name / okay, say this application one name. This application one name is called order. This application one name is your order app. And this application two name is, there are different applications like account app. Order app and account app. Now in the URL, you type like host name / order app / orders. Now this host name is this machine's address. So this host name is this machine's address. Now once this URL reaches, okay, and this host name also along with this will have port also, port number. Port number is where your Tomcat server is running. So with the host name, the request reaches till this part, to till this Tomcat server. Now this order app is to this application. Account app means to this application. Now order app means this application. Whatever this application is, right? This application I have drawn larger like this. Now this is your order app actually. This application name is order app. This application name is order app. Now the request reaches to this application. The request reaches to this application. Now it will invoke this web.xml. What is the URL that is reaching this application? Your host name / orders. I am not writing the complete. I am writing only this path. So this is the URL that is reaching / orders. Right? So this is the URL reaching slash orders. Now in web.exe, this web.xml will get executed if URL path contains slash orders. If URL path contains slash orders, send the request to order servlet. That means this one. Suppose if my URL path contains slash products, so your web.xml now will check for slash products and send the request to product controller. That is this servlet. That means for different types of requests, so different servlets will be there. So this is your product servlet. This is one separate servlet class. This is another separate servlet. And internally, this will invoke model. It will have model and all that. But you can think like this is one separate servlet class. This is another separate servlet class. Like that, suppose if I have 10 types of requests. Okay. So similarly, there is one more request coming with a request type of slash payments. One more request coming with slash users. Okay, one more request coming with slash okay, invoice. Something like this. Okay. Now for each request type, there is one servlet. Now for orders, you have orders controller. For products, you have products controller. For payments, so for payments, you have payments controller. For users, so we have users controller. These are separate classes. For invoice, we have invoice controller. So these are different classes which are different servlet classes. That means how many servlet classes are there? Suppose I have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of requests. How many servlet classes are there? What is a servlet? Servlet is a Java class, right? So you'll have five servlet classes. Is it or not? We'll have 5 servlet classes, right? If I have different types of requests, I'll have 5 servlet classes, right? So if you see what is happening, now it will be like this now. Now let us think like this. So this is your order management app. Now here you have. So here you have product controller. Sorry, the orders controller. Next is your products controller. Right. Next is your users controller. Next is your payments controller. Right. Let me draw only 4. Now, say we have different users accessing this application. So this is browser one from different locations, right? Suppose think like this website, you launched this website and multiple users are accessing your website from different browsers, right? From different machines and different browsers, they access this. Browser 2. Browser 1 is issuing orders control. It is issuing this slash orders. It is going to orders controller. Okay. Similarly, browser 2 is, browser 1 from browser 1, it is also issuing products slash products. It is going to slash products controller. And how the requests are being directed, it is in web.xml, we define that. In web.xml, we define that. Similarly, browser 2 is issuing slash products. It is going to this products controller. So browser 2 is issuing slash users. It is going to slash users controller. Similarly, browser 3 is issuing slash payments. So browser 3 is issuing slash, so it is going to payments control. Right? Right. Now, so this is actually a, and here the controller invoke the model, okay, view and everything. Each controller will be having a model view. Okay. A model. That is a different story. So controller, that means this flow. Once the request reaches the controller, it will go to model, then this one. Right. But if you see here, there are multiple controllers for each type of request. But this type of controller means what? Servlet, right? That means this is one servlet. This is one servlet class. Servlet 1, servlet 2, servlet 2, servlet 3, servlet 4, right? Now you see, servlet 1, servlet 2, these are all servlet. So one servlet, one single servlet consumes more memory, more server memory. Okay, so it is a heavy component. One single servlet itself is a very heavy loaded component or heavy running component. Like that now we have 4 or 5 servlets depending on the type of the request. So that means that much heavy components you are putting in this application. And this all you are running in your server memory. Your server memory and everything will be utilized completely. In order to avoid this kind of thing, we have one more kind of architecture, which is there will be only one controller, only one servlet. One controller, which is called a front controller. I call this as a front controller because it is in the front of all the requests. Okay, this is your servlet. So now in my web.xml, I define that any URL starting with slash, any URL starting with slash, invoke any server, front controller server. I put like this, any URL starting with slash, invoke front controller servlet. Starting with slash means, now say for example, now from browser 1, it will go to the slash products. So anything that starts with slash. Okay. Next is slash users. Browser 2. So anything that starts with slash, the URL that starts with slash payments. So all this will go to one single servlet. Any URL type will go to single servlet. This is what we call it as front controller. So this is what we call it as front controller. This is what we call it as a front controller pattern. Okay. That means any URL will actually, that means in web.xml we define like any URL starting with slash, invoke front controller. That means this will. Now this single servlet will handle any of these requests. Now more servlets, more is the memory, heavy running component. Now with single servlet, I make this as a lightweight application. So with single servlet, okay, this becomes lightweight application. With single servlet, this becomes lightweight application. Because more number of servlets, more is the memory consumed of the server, wherever it is running. So this type of pattern is also called front controller pattern. Okay. So front controller pattern means there will be a front controller across all these requests. Now you see, this front controller now can invoke multiple models. Models can be different, lightweight. So this you can invoke multiple models, like your products model or payments model. Your products model. Okay. This can invoke. Okay, this can invoke actually any of the models are lightweight. Models are lightweight, but your servlets are very heavyweight. Here we have multiple servlets, multiple models. Multiple servlets, multiple models. And here you have single servlet, multiple models. And this pattern is called front controller pattern. And the Spring MVC has been built on this pattern. Spring MVC is built on this pattern. Right? And now, so now in Spring MVC, how it will be there is, now in Spring MVC, now there will be a front controller which is called dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet, which is your front controller. Okay, so this dispatcher servlet is part of your, Spring MVC. Is part of Spring MVC framework or Spring MVC library, right? Now any request coming from the browser in web.xml we define. In web.xml we define any request. In web.xml what we define? Any request that is coming, any request coming to the, okay, any request starting with slash, or any request path starting with, or any URL path, sorry. URL path starting with slash, send the request to dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet. Now, what will happen now? Now we have slash orders, slash products, slash customers, anything. Slash orders, slash products, slash users, slash customers. Okay, anything. It will go to the dispatcher servlet. I mean, because your web.xml, any URL starting with slash, send the request to dispatch servlet. Now your front controller, any request will come. Now this can invoke multiple. So this can invoke multiple models, and these are called Spring Beans actually. These are your Spring Beans, which we have seen in the Spring core. Remember? Spring core we have seen dependency injection and inversion of control. So this is how your dispatcher servlet is built. Any doubts till now? Any questions? Any questions? So tomorrow we'll start the practicals on this. Any doubts how this? Any questions till now? Are you clear? Yeah, multiple servlets are like your performance gets degraded. All right then. Any doubts till now? Understood this concept? Whatever I told you from year to year. Whatever I told from year to year. Understood the concept? Everyone? Right? No doubts, right? So shall we see tomorrow? So tomorrow I'll upload this in the Google Classroom. Okay. So tomorrow we'll connect. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see the practicals of this. Okay. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.